This is a Doral 250SE. It's a 2003 boat, and this is one of those really nice, affordable, practical ways to get onto the water. It's one of those boats that's a nice compact size, it's easy to handle, but it's got a surprising amount of space inside. So I'm going to take you on board and give you a full tour. Now I'm going to talk about the foredeck as we go past it, just because on this one you don't come through the side decks to get to the foredeck. What they've done is brought the whole boat right out, so the cockpit and the cabin are almost the full width, to maximise the space. And then to get up onto the foredeck, you open the windscreen and you walk through here. So rather than doing that, as it's all buttoned down as you can see at the minute, I shall just show you that we've just got up here on the front, there's an anchor winch in the centre just there, and the anchor of course is on the bow, and then an anchor chain locker just there, and you've got fender baskets up here as well, so you keep fenders up here ready to just drop straight over. I like the fact this one's got the black hull on it. That looks really smart, and it's got the black canopies as well. In fact, they look pretty new to me, so that's nice. And it's got the radar arch on it, so you've got navigation lights and a searchlight up there on the top. If we come round to the back, one quite clever feature is that this back seat here slides. You can see it slid back at the minute. There is a piece, or there should be a piece at least, to slot into there, so you can extend the size of that, but you can then move that forward if you want to. You can see that piece there comes out to allow it to slide forward, and that gives you more space on the bathing platform. So if you're doing water sports, slide that out the way, get a load more space here. If you're not, slide that back, get more cockpit space. That's quite clever. And if you go on to the bathing platform itself, then we've got over here, this is a boarding ladder, so that drops down into the water for when you're swimming. And these are little pop-out cleats here, like so. And then if we head on in to the cockpit area, this is what I mean about the fact that because there are no side decks, they're really maximising the width in here. Otherwise this would be quite a narrow area, but as it is, it's a pretty good size. You've got seating across here. As I say, there should be an infill for that somewhere. It comes right around here, and then more seating up this side. In fact, that's a very nice shalong there. There's a table which you can take out if you want to. There's also a larger table that's clipped up over here. So this is just a little drinks table. If you're dining, then you can unclip that, pop it on there, and then you've got that. And then we head on a bit further forward. The helm position is over on this side. This is that opening windscreen. As I say, you zip up these two sections here and roll it up, and then this hinges open. You can see the little catches for it over there, so it hinges that way. And there are steps here to take you up and through and onto the foredeck. And in fact, just talking about the canopy, there are various things you can do with this. These are designed so you can roll this up and it holds it up, or you can see there's a zip here. You can take all of this out and just leave the top up as a bimini top. Exactly the same at the back. In fact, you've got these triangular sections that come out and leave the top up. Same at the back, same on that side. And then of course, once you've got those out, you can hinge that. You can see it hinges there forward. These flop against it, roll it all up, and it lies against the arch. So a lot of options there in terms of the canopies. The helm, this one has got a Garmin GPS map system on it. Engine instrumentation is across here, and your switch gear for things like the horn, the depth sounder, the wiper, and so forth, bilge pump, etc. This one's also got automatic trim tabs on, which is quite a nice feature, because it means you can just hit the button on there and it levels for you automatically. So that one pushes the bow down, that pushes the bow up, that sort of tilts the boat. This is when she's running at speed to one side or the other, but the auto button just keeps everything nice and level for you. Bow thruster on here as well, which again, very useful thing to have, especially if you're new to boating, but even if you're not, it just makes life so much easier. There is a lift bolster, so if you want to stand with the helm, you can do. You can lean back against that, which is always a nice way to drive this kind of boat. And then if we head on down inside, it's got the artificial teak decking in here as well, which is nice because it looks good, but it's really low maintenance. There's a sliding door here, so that's how that closes off. And then down into here, the one thing I noticed in particular about this is the woodwork. It's got this lovely light wood in. It looks really good. You can see it all the way around here. And what you've got is, as you come in, just at the bottom here, it's typically this style of boat, you've got standing headroom just here, and then you can see as the cabin slopes down and the floor comes up, because of course that's the shape of the hull underneath, then you have sitting headroom for around the table further forward. So that's very practical. It means you get the standing headroom, but you don't lose the sleek styling of the boat. There is a hanging locker just here, put your bits and pieces in, and then you've got a bit of shelving around the top, lots of lights dotted about the places you can see. There's a hatch up there at the front, takes you straight out onto the foredeck, and then this seating area, you can drop the table down and you can make that into a bed if you want to. So if you want to sleep there, you can do, but there is another sleeping area as well, which I'll show you in just a moment. The galley then is over here on the port side, bits of storage about the places you'd expect. This one's got a micro in it which would run off the shore power, so when you're plugged into the marina, that then gives you 240 volt power, things like this, and your 240 sockets and so forth. Little sink in here as well, and there's a fridge down underneath and a bit more storage. On the other side then is the heads. That's in here, it's got a dehumidifier in there at the minute. Again, that runs off the 240 power. It's brilliant when you are leaving the boat. You can pop that up here and drain it into the sink. So it just keeps everything dry and fresh. Toilet in there, another little sink, and there is in fact a shower that pulls out of here like so. So if you want to have a shower, you can do. So compact, but everything that you need. And then if we come back again, it's very typical of this style of boat, but nonetheless it's equally brilliant as this thing always is. So what you've got is they reuse this area by sending a bed back underneath it, and then they use this seat to give you a bit of headroom at this end. And so if we dive into here, you can see you can curtain this off. That then is a double bed that runs back underneath. There's some cushions there. I suspect that infill cushion for the extending seat in the cockpit is probably in there, and also the cushion for the table that drops down as well. And I think also possibly some foredeck sunbathing cushions, because there's quite a lot in there. But anyway, the point is that is a double bed that extends right the way over there, and so that gives you a permanent sleeping area, which in a 25-foot boat is really useful, because it's much better than having to keep on turning the dinette into a bed and then back into a dinette every time you get up or go to bed. That means keep your bed in there, that's where you sleep, and then keep this area out here, it's a day area. That's very good. Let's come all the way back here so we can see all of this. There we go. If I come right back to here, it's a pretty decent cabin, isn't it, for a 25-foot boat? That's very good. Stereos up here on this side, compact disc player. You don't see very many of those anymore. It is quite nice. They put skylights in the ceiling here and over here and up there, and then of course the hatch there as well. So there's a lot of natural light in here and quite light colours. So it does feel, although you're very much inside the boat, it does feel nice and open. So there we go. Last thing to show you then is the engine. So we'll step back out into the cockpit. Now, there are two ways into the engine on these. You can remove this seating, and then this whole hatch here, all the way around there, opens up, so you can get to everything. Brilliant for servicing and all that kind of stuff. But just to save time and just so we can have a quick look, there's also a smaller hatch built in, and it's quite handy because it means if you just want to have a quick look in the bilge, make sure the engine is still there, this is the way in. Now this is a Mercruiser diesel engine. Drop the camera down, you'll be able to see it properly. There we go. It is 300 horsepower, I'm told, and that should give this boat about 30 knots, flat out, somewhere around that sort of speed, I would imagine. Let's get right back in there we go, that's better. And cruising therefore, well, around 20 knots is typical, 20 to 25, it's the sort of speed we do with ours, and that's very comfortable for this size of boat. And the big advantage with a diesel over a petrol, of course, is the fact that firstly, fuel is more readily available, and secondly, it's also a lot cheaper. If you're filling up on a marine station, you tend to find that the diesel cost is much less than the petrol cost. And of course, they're more economical as well. So they are cheaper to run, but the flip side of that is they tend to be a bit more expensive to buy. So you just have to sort of, weigh that up really when you're buying one. Very good. I'm going to finish off over here. And I will say thanks to One Marine down in Torquay, they've got this boat for sale. And huge thanks to you guys as ever for watching. We'll catch you on another one of these very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.